In February 2026, the Pro Football Hall of Fame announced its class of 2026. 5 names, headlined by Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald. One name that generated more headlines than any of the inductees wasn't on the list at all: Bill Belichick, the head coach with more Super Bowl wins than anyone in NFL history in his very first year of eligibility. But before we get to that twist, it's worth asking a bigger question about this entire list. When a coach wins multiple Super Bowls, did he build a whole era around one team or just win fast? And has any coach ever done it by jumping to a different franchise? Bill Belichick won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach: 2002, 2004, 2005, 2015, 2017, and 2019, all with the New England Patriots, across an 18-year stretch with the same quarterback, Tom Brady, for all 6. Nobody else is within 2 of that number. Chuck Noll won 4 with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1970s, built around the Steel Curtain defense, and he did it with a perfect record: 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 wins, no losses, still the only coach ever to go undefeated across 4 or more trips. 3 coaches are tied at 3 apiece: Bill Walsh, whose West Coast offense with the 49ers reshaped how the entire league throws the ball; Joe Gibbs with Washington, who is the only coach on this list to win his 3 titles with 3 completely different starting quarterbacks; and Andy Reid, the only coach on this list still active, who has closed a 4-title gap on Noll down to just 1, winning all 3 of his with the Chiefs in a span of just 5 seasons, from 2020 to 2024. Here's where it gets interesting, the same way it did with franchises a couple episodes back. Belichick's 6 titles came across an 18-year era, the longest championship window any coach has ever sustained with one team. Noll's 4 came in just 6 seasons, 1975 to 1980, the fastest 4-title run in NFL history, essentially one continuous dynasty compressed into half a decade. Walsh's 3 came across 7 seasons, 1982 to 1989, with largely the same core led by Joe Montana. Gibbs is the odd one out. His 3 titles stretch across 10 seasons from 1983 to 1992, but with 3 almost entirely different rosters and 3 different starting quarterbacks each time: Joe Theismann, then Doug Williams, then Mark Rapien, meaning Washington effectively rebuilt itself from scratch twice and still kept winning with the same coach. And Andy Reid's 3 are the fastest of the modern era: 3 titles in 5 seasons with the Chiefs, 2020 through 2024, a burst that's starting to rival Noll's for sheer speed. 4 different coaches, 4 different shapes of success, a long unbroken era, a lightning-fast burst, a slower burn, and a rebuild and repeat. Now here's a number that connects every single name on this list, and it's more surprising than any individual coach's story. In the entire history of the Super Bowl, no head coach has ever won it with 2 different franchises. Not once. Coaches have certainly tried and gotten close. Don Shula, Bill Parcells, Dick Vermeil, Mike Holmgren, and Andy Reid himself all won a Super Bowl with one team and then reached a Super Bowl with a second team, only to lose it. Dan Reeves went to 4 Super Bowls across 2 different franchises and lost every single one. But actually winning it with 2 different organizations has never happened, not in 60 title games. Every single multi-time winning coach on this list, Belichick, Noll, Walsh, Gibbs, Reid, and every other repeat champion, built every one of his championships with a single franchise. Whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl as a head coach, it apparently doesn't travel. Which brings us back to the twist. You'd assume the coach with double the championships of the next closest all-time competitor, all with one franchise, would be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Instead, in the class of 2026 vote revealed at NFL Honors, Belichick fell short of the votes needed in his very first year of eligibility. Some voters pointed to the Spygate and Deflategate scandals from his Patriots tenure. But according to Hall of Fame officials themselves, a bigger factor was procedural. A rule change bundled coaches and contributors into the same small voting pool as senior-era players who retired 25-plus years ago, competing for the same handful of slots. Belichick and Patriots owner Robert Kraft were grouped alongside 3 players from the 1960s and 70s. Voters could only pick 3 names out of those 5. only one of the five made it. Belichick wasn't it. It marked the third straight year that no coach at all was inducted into the Hall of Fame, a pattern significant enough that the Hall's own president publicly said the voting process itself may need to change before next year's vote. And it isn't just a Belichick problem. Tom Coughlin won 2 Super Bowls, both against Belichick's own Patriots, in 2008 and 2012. George Seifert won 2 with the 49ers in the early 1990s, going a perfect 2-0 himself. Mike Shanahan won back-to-back titles with Denver in 1998 and 1999. All 3 are multi-time Super Bowl winning head coaches. All 3 built their titles the same one-team way as everyone else on this list, and none of them are in the Hall of Fame. Compare that to Noll, Walsh, and Gibbs, who all got in within a few years of retiring, back before this newer procedural bottleneck existed. So put it together. Nobody has ever coached his way to more Super Bowl wins than Bill Belichick. No coach in 60 title games has ever done it by switching teams. And the 4 ways to build a winning resume, a long era, a fast burst, a steady run, or a full rebuild and repeat, have all worked, just on wildly different timelines. What the numbers still can't explain is why the coach at the very top of that list doesn't have a bust in Canton yet. If you want more stories where the record and the recognition don't line up, subscribe. There's more where this came from.